watched them turn to ash as I slipped the dagger into her heart. The darkness I felt had to be my own. Sometimes it seemed as if my mother's light was the only thing keeping the darkness at bay, keeping me from becoming just like Katya, a monster. All I knew was that everything I ever loved or hated had been taken from me in one fell swoop.
"Morning, sunshine,"
Beth chirped as she flung open the drapes, flooding my mother's studio with light. Well, almost everything. Gripping the grass, I pulled myself to a sitting position. Strange, I felt a deeper connection to that tiny plot of grass than anything else on this waking earth. As much as I hated Kivira and everything it stood for, I'd left a part of my soul there, the good part, my innocence, and I wasn't quite ready to let that go. I held up my hand in front of me, the sun glinting off the tiny particles of gold dust that clung to my skin. I used to think the gold was beautiful on my mother. Now it just reminded me of the sacrifice she'd made, her parting gift that was carved into my skin, the alchemical formula for making gold. My body was covered in scars no one could see, some that would never heal. I ran my hands over my arms, my chest, settling on the scar below my collarbone, the last tattoo my mother gave me, a circle with a dot in the center, the alchemy symbol for gold or sun. I didn't dare let my fingertips drift any lower, to the place where I'd cut myself so I could become bloodbound, to Dane.
"Isn't it lovely?"
Beth said, as she stared across the muddy Hudson. Sure. I inspected my newly healed finger. Another great day to be alive.
"I'll say."
She grinned back at me. I wish there were a dimmer switch for Beth. It seemed like the more miserable I was, the more manic her happiness became. But she was probably always the same, which meant I was getting worse.
"You know what today is?"
Beth asked, as she began to straighten up the mess of perfume vials and testing strips scattered around the studio. She knew better than to ask what I was working on. It was embarrassing for both of us, like discovering a drug addict in the midst of their addiction. It was my dirty little secret, how I kept trying to capture Dane's scent, but I could never get it exactly right. It tortured me. Yes, of course I know what today is, I whispered. It's the 1-year anniversary of when my mother disappeared. The beginning of the end.
"Oh, my stars, is that right? Well, it's also Saturday, the day you said I could finally ride the subway."
Look, I exhaled a measured breath. We have a driver. He'll take you anywhere you want to go.
"I don't know where I want to go. That's the whole point. I want to let the rails decide."
You're not a hobo in a 40s movie, I said.
"Oh, wouldn't that be grand?"
Yeah, super. I brushed the lush blades of grass from my palms. But I can't risk something happening to you.
"I know all the rules,"
she said as she bounced on the balls of her feet.
"We've been over them 1,000,000 times. This is my no-no square. You can't touch me there. Stranger danger. Don't look people in the eyes. Just say no. 911. I've got a rape whistle and pepper spray. I can do this. I know the subway map like the bottom of my foot."
I couldn't help but smile at that. I don't think she messed up the words. I literally think Beth knows all the lines on the bottom of her foot.
"Pretty please,"
she trilled as she skipped around the raised bed of grass like a deranged 6-year-old. Fine, I groaned. Anything to get her to stop.
Thank you, Ash."
She hurled herself on top of me. I got out from under her and made my way over to the work table, squinting up at the bottles lining the shelves. It was thrilling at first, figuring out the formula and making the gold, but with each ingot poured, it reminded me that time was passing. I wonder if that's how my mother felt at the end, spent and worried, as she waited for Katya to come for her. But it didn't look like anyone was coming for me, including Dane or Coronado or whatever he was.